Everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers pregame presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. What's going on today, Chuck?
Not too much.
Happy to be in Montreal.
Yeah, we're definitely in Montreal at this moment.
Anyways, this pregame is going to be a little bit different, obviously, because we are in Montreal currently, sort of.
Wink.
But it's Flyers Habs, and listen, we just went through all the matchup stuff and everything like a couple of days ago. They just played. Flyers, unfortunately, won that game. But here we are now, and really the story of this game is Matvei Michkov scratching and clawing to try to get back into the Calder race. And it is now Lane Hutson who is a presumptive favorite to win this thing. I mean, you see his rookie of the year price at Bet365. It is now Lane Hutson minus 1,400 to win the Calder. Celebrini at 9-1, Michkov at 18, Dustin Wolf still hanging in there, still listed, but at 80-1. So take that for what you will. It looks like this thing is Lane Hutson's to lose, and as disappointing as that is, Michkov probably not going to be a winner. I do think he can get himself into this finalist conversation.
I think he's very much in the conversation.
Because Wolf falling off, Calgary kind of falling out of it, and that was all kind of his case is, well, look, he's going to get this, we thought bottom 10 team into the playoffs, and now they're not going to make it, so such is life. You look at these odds, and it kind of makes sense. I've been saying all along, as much as I don't want it to be, especially a Hab, a defenseman has this kind of rookie season, I struggle not making him the rookie of the year, Charlie. He has 57 assists in 70 or 64 games. What's his I just had it in front of me. His scoring. Yeah, he's played 74 games, 57 assists. That's 3 away from Larry Murphy, the record for a rookie defenseman. He had 60 and 80 games.
He's doing something that is historic. Yes.
The 62 points is already 7th most ever by a rookie defenseman. Chris Chelios played 74 games his rookie year, had 64 points. He's 2 away from what Chris Chelios did. One of the greatest of all time. Of the top 10 rookie D-man scorers ever, only Chelios has under 11 goals. He had 9. So, I do think, listen, we've made the primary points argument, the even strength argument, but he's a defenseman putting up historic assist numbers, historic points totals, even, that plus-minus coming around a little bit for him. It's not too shabby. Lane Hutson kind of has this thing wrapped up.
It seems like it. I guess it's possible that Michkov could go on a crazy scoring bender, which he is right now, but just continues it. Because I don't think anybody's expecting, well, maybe some people are. I don't think anybody's expecting him to continue to average 2 points a game through the final 6 games of the season. But hey, if he did, he'd finish with 70 points and probably 30 goals. And then suddenly you're like, oh, well, maybe.
He gets that hat trick. He scores a few more goals. That'll get him to 30. And with, if he's at over 60 points and he has the 30 goals, I do think maybe that gets him the runner-up. Celebrini was so much kind of the presumptive guy for so long after Michkov went into the slump, and then Celebrini has the points a game argument for a while. I think that it's probably already decided 1, 2, 3, Hutson, Celebrini, Michkov. But these final 6 games, I do think Mish can make a case for himself to at least be runner-up. And if he gets to 30 goals, it's a conversation, right?
I think that's probably fair. Michkov would have to really go bonkers, because to get to 30 goals, Flyers have 6 games left. To get to 30 goals would be a goal a game pace. Now, he has the talent to do it. We've seen that. It still is real tough. It's real tough for anybody to do a goal a game pace for 6 games, you know?
Now, I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's a crazy run.
Yeah.
You do look at kind of Bradshaw's attitude since he took over. And he said, like,
we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun, boys.
He has said, like, listen, I just have a lighter personality than John Tortorella. I mean, there are like probably Army drill sergeants with lighter personalities than John Tortorella. But he does want to kind of lighten this thing up and not finish the season on the down note that was, you know, what I picture Cam York and John Tortorella screaming personal insults at each other in the middle of the locker room in Toronto. So, like, I get that. And along with that, maybe it's giving Michkov the 20 minutes rather than the 16 minutes a game. And right there, boom. All right, we have seen the power play at least score a few goals since their 0 for 34 drought, I think it ended up at. So that helps. And perhaps there will be a little bit of a concerted effort to get Matvei a few more points. And maybe, how do you take 20 shots. If none of them go in, what do you do? But maybe put him in situations where he has an opportunity to score. We saw it at the end of the game.
Empty nets are probably the
empty
only
nets.
One. And I guess if you're rooting for the Flyers to maximize their draft position, you're probably hoping he doesn't face many empty nets the rest of the way.
Or just like offensive zone draws and he's the right winger instead of Bobby Brink. Something like that. Yeah. Maybe a couple of shifts in that situation to get him a few more opportunities.
I kind of doubt that just because they're barely practicing, you know? I don't really think there's anything they can add at this point, like any wrinkles to try to manufacture points beyond playing him in empty net situations, which Bradshaw has shown he's willing to do, especially when Michkov is trying to get a hat trick. He's like, yeah, go ahead. Go try to score that third, buddy. But I don't think there's going to be any like behind closed doors emphasis upon like get the puck to what's that? Isn't there like a bad Will Ferrell movie where like the entire strategy is like get the puck to the Italians, get the ball to the Italians, and I don't think it's going to be like everybody just get the puck to Michkov, let's get him the call. I don't think it's going to be that.
I don't think it's that either. Just simply playing him on the line he's on right now with TK. And listen, this goal scoring still hasn't like come back for TK, but he's having a 50 assist season, which like I read off the list a couple of days ago. Guys who've had 50 assists for this organization, especially since the lockout, it's Giroux a bunch, Voracek a couple of times, one big Richard season, and the one big Forsberg season.
That's it.
And I think a ghost in there, the 17-18 when he was out there with was out there with Provy, and they were like the best D pair in hockey for that 2/3 of a season.
Yeah.
But like that's it, and like TK having that, and obviously what Coots lacks in the offensive output. He gets you in the offensive zone, still does that real well, and wins draws, so you can stay in the offensive zone.
I think does
that sort of thing.
Keeping this line together definitely is the easiest way to try to juice his stats, but like they're already doing it. So you can't do it more. I guess you could theoretically throw him out there for 25 minutes, but I don't think they're going to do that either.
And like, what does that really do? Like, oh yeah, we're focusing on this guy, and Tyson Forster sitting there like, I got a contract. Cam York, like, you're playing me less. I got a contract. So there's always that stuff to weigh.
And also, as much as I know that like fans want to see Michkov get as many points as possible, bonuses do play a role here. Like, do I think the Flyers
can they do that?
Do I think the Flyers are going to hold Michkov back? No, I don't. I don't think they're going to hold him back even a little bit. But like, fans might think the Flyers are incentivized to get Michkov as many points as possible, whereas the Flyers are like, hey, if Michkov scores, like we're not gonna hamstring him. But also, if he doesn't get 70 points and we save $300,000 in bonus overages, that might not be the worst thing in the world.
I do wonder if he's already hit like most of the benchmarks, because I had a list of the benchmarks that they had, and like some of the stuff, like he ain't gonna be first team all-star because
he's going to hit a lot.
But he's going to, he's awesome, but he's not Nikita Kucherov.
What I'm saying is that the incentives, the incentives for the fans are not lined up to the incentives of the organization 1-to-1 because bonuses do matter, and it's not just being cheap. This has cap implications.
No, it absolutely does.
Throwing him out there for 30 minutes to try to get him to 80 points, that might be fun, but also why would they purposely ruin their cap situation more?
And going into, not to throw this curveball at you because it just popped in my head, but Vince asked me about it the other day when we were just sitting out there talking about the offseason plan and stuff. We still don't know about Ryan Johansson.
Not yet.
They said it's still going to take another month or two.
That was what we had heard
a month ago,
a few weeks ago.
Yes.
So the rule in the CBA is that it's supposed once the arbitration hearing is done, the arbitrator is supposed to have a ruling within 30 days. Well, we're past 30 days and they haven't got a hearing, so I'm guessing that someone in this situation agreed that it could take longer than that.
And that's just maybe there are other cap complications going on. Who the hell knows? But that's the Calder situation. I know that you don't know. You are in the PHWA, but it's not like every single member gets a vote on every single award. That hasn't been determined yet.
Well, so the way the PHWA works, it's not that we all get different votes on different awards. It's that you get selected to have a vote. And if you get selected, then you get a vote on everything. Aside from I believe the Vezina is picked by the broadcasters.
Vezina
is the GMs.
Vezina is GMs.
The broadcasters get one too.
Broadcasters. I just heard this the other day, but it's not Rookie of the Year. That would be PHWA, but they get something.
Yeah. Is it the broadcasters that get GM of the Year? Is that what it is?
That could be it.
That might be
and
it.
that gets voted on in the second round of the playoffs because
Right.
obviously you can't have done a good job if your team went out in the first.
But point being is that if I were to be selected, I would
Yes.
get Rookie of the Year, I would get Hart, I would get Norris, I would get the All-Star
Okay,
teams.
that's how it
but
works.
I don't know if I'm going to get selected. I've never not been selected since I became a full-time journalist with The Athletic. However, I'm no longer with The Athletic. So I got it last year. I hope I get it this year.
I wonder, now you are a capital J journalist, so this would not sway your vote. In fact, on conversations we've had, I'm fairly certain Michkov might not be number one. Do you think market you're in plays a role?
Yes.
Man, you get to vote on Hart every year because guess what? Ain't happening. A Philadelphia Flyer being part of that conversation.
So,
do you think that, or is it random? Do you know how it works?
No, it's not that.
Okay.
It's not conspiracy you're not going to pick a Flyer, so we'll give you the vote. But if you were in a market that does have an MVP candidate, you're not going to get the vote. What does matter is proportionality. So there's a ton of PHWA members in Toronto.
Of course.
They're not going to give all the Toronto people a ballot because then Toronto players would win every award.
Austin Matthews is the Hart Trophy winner,
Yes.
despite him not having the best season.
So they're going to look at it as, they probably will give 4 Philly writers a vote. I suspect I will be one of them because there really are only 4 full-time Philly sports writers that get votes. It would be me, Jackie Spiegel with The Inquirer, Jordan Hall with NBC Sports Philly, and Kevin Kurz with The Athletic. I would guess all 4 of us get the vote, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But compare that to Toronto where there's 20 people who cover the team. They're not going to give all 20 a vote.
So in terms of process, and we know that you are different from a lot of in and out of market media members. Counting stats, is that your starting point and then you dive in deeper? Do you weigh more heavily just the advanced stuff? What is your process?
Counting stats matter.
Okay.
They matter.
I don't want you to tell me your ballot because that's your business.
I think counting stats, you're talking about counting stats,
Yeah.
the stats that are just raw numbers.
Yes, goals, assists.
Points, they all matter. Games played matter. Because, hey, more time to make an impact.
Suck at Celebrini.
Well, seriously, though, if a guy, because there might be a guy who played 30 games and you look at his play driving metrics and they're amazing. I'm not going to weight that as highly as I would Michkov's play driving metrics being really good in 80 games. Assume he doesn't miss another game. He did have those 2 scratches. That matters. The weight of the sheer number of games you played, it's more impressive if you play more games and are real good versus if you play 25 games and are real good. So that matters to me. But then obviously I look at things like 5-on-5 scoring efficiency, 5-on-5 impact on expected goal differential. I look at penalty differential. I'll look at the models that try to approximate individual impact. So the models they have on Evolving Hockey, the models they have on Hockey Viz, all those models I look at and I make a judgment call based on everything. And also I've seen these guys play. Obviously, they know that, look, some people are just homers and they're going to pick their people because it's a way to curry favor with the players on the team or whatever. But there's a natural homerism to, like, I watched him.
You
for
saw
80
them
games.
82 times. Yeah.
I know how good Matvei Michkov is because I've seen him play a ton. I've seen him play a lot more than I've seen Hutson and Celebrini play, and Dustin Wolf for that matter. So I am going to be naturally biased towards the guy who I watched up close do all the cool things. And I think they know that, like, even if you're trying to be as objective and impartial as possible, that natural bias is going to come into play. And it does. It very much does, even for me as well.
And that's what I wonder about Celebrini and, like, maybe him finishing third instead of second. Simply, like,
fewer people saw
10:30 Sharks games, man.
Yeah.
Who's watching these? Like, yeah, if you're really into it and you want to see Celebrini, but, like, that is literally the only reason. You know?
And, like, one thing too, all writers watch these guys when they play their teams. And the times I watched Celebrini play the Flyers, he played real well. Like, he was impressive. So
he was real good, getting punched in the face by Matvei Michkov.
It was impressive.
All right, let's get to the bets. This pregame pick segment is brought to you by Bet365. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Just a couple for you, and they are real easy ones. It is going to be Matvei Michkov, anytime goal. I think he keeps this run going up against Lane Hutson. We saw what he did last time, 3 points, all primaries, 2 goals and an assist. In my head, he scored 4. And we're not stupid. We're going to take Lane Hutson over points because he just racks up them secondary assists, baby. He's just on fire with that thing. It's incredible. Somebody actually, because I've been saying, like, well, you know, I supported Ghost for the Calder, and somebody DM'd me, like, a breakdown of all Ghost's points. And one, like, he had, like, 16 goals.
Yeah, a lot of goals.
And
Ghost bombs.
Not a ton of secondaries, actually. I thought it was way more than it was. He had, like, 15. Like, it was, like, well under half of his assists, and Hudson's well over half of his assists. But regardless, it's just points, and we're going to take Lane Hutson over points, and that will do it for pregame. This has been PHLY Flyers pregame presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, never ordinary at Bet365. In terms of postgame, listen, we will be going live for postgame, but, like, after we get back to the hotel. So give us a little bit. Gonna start later than usual, but there will be a postgame following Flyers Habs tonight. Make sure you tune in for it. Follow us right here on the YouTube page. Set the reminder bell. So listen, whenever we start, you'll just get a notification. It's that simple. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast PHLY Flyers, wherever you get those. Real easy, all that. That's it. I am Bill Matz. That is Charlie O'Connor. Till postgame, roll on Michkov.
We all silly like the mayor.